So, we were talking a little about music. I've been playing a game that has some really good music. It's called Elden Ring.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
I have put
Uh,
26 hours into this already.
okay,
Uh,
let me just sit back for a
I
second.
am uh, I am pushing close to that 30-hour mark, and I was torn between like making a video at 30 hours or just making like having my talk here and cutting it out. I'm probably going to do that because I don't want to spoil things for people. Honestly,
Fair
um,
enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
the this game. Not, okay, I'm gonna say it right now. I know we're early in the year. This is game of the year. I don't see how it couldn't be. This is not just game of the year. I adore this game. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you. Um, this is a me game in every way, shape, and form. This game is Dark Souls meets Legend of Zelda, like OG first Legend of Zelda, in the best way. They hint you where to go, but they never outright say it. The only guide that you have is at specific. There's new names for everything. It's still just a bonfire, right? At specific bonfires, they will have like a light trail that goes from it in a direction, and that's the clue you get. That's the story path. But the vast majority of this game for me has been, I wonder what's over that hill. Let me just go find out. Oh my gosh, what is this? What is going on? Or oh, it's a dungeon. Cool. I love exploring dungeons. I'm there for the next hour and a half, just exploring this dungeon, fighting enemies, fighting bosses. This game has a cool mechanic called the Ash system, and I don't want to get too much into it for the sake of spoilers for people. But when you get to a certain point, very early on, you get access to the ability to summon ashes in specific areas. And it means that even though the bosses are kind of harder than some of the other Souls games, they're also kind of not, because you can summon one of many different ashes.
That's just that.
Thank you. And these ashes will help draw aggro and have different effects, and they're very, very cool. Thank you. And some of them can poison enemies, and some of them can, thank y'all. And some of them can disrupt enemies. They're all very cool, and they're my favorite like new addition to the game. But the real way that Elden Ring shines to me is that it's an open world game without the open world problem. So when I say the open world problem, I mean that the vast majority of open world games have very repetitive things, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You
Here we
have
go.
the same tasks over and over again.
Yeah.
In Elden Ring, every dungeon's different. You do eventually need to pull a lever to unlock the door to the boss. But other than that, every dungeon's different. The mobs that are in the dungeons are different. The open world, there's just stuff everywhere. And there are secrets hidden. There are all kinds of crazy secrets, some of which let you sequence break and go places you probably should not be yet and get one shot by enemies. But if you can get past those enemies, there's items you can get there.
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
It sounds like okay. Look, just love or hate Skyrim and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Uh, I think for me, a lot of times while they were at their where they were at their best is when you were just wandering.
Yep. 100%.
And you come across stuff you haven't seen
Yep.
before. And yeah, with the size of games, the engines have caught up, the hardware, the hardware and software side of it now.
Yeah.
These worlds can be so big and so different. And it sounds like I have watched zero videos on Elden Ring. They're all over
Yeah.
my all over my feed, um, but I'm not watching them.
Yeah.
But of course you get blurbs and stuff with them. For the first game in a long time that's come out that has actually met the expectations
Yeah.
of people that were holding it to high expectations.
100%. 100%.
And that really says a lot. And it really makes me excited for the next couple of years of gaming with some of the titles that
Yes.
are coming out.
It's such a weird thing. If you had told me an open world Dark Souls game, I would have gone, well, Dark Souls is already open world. It's interconnected and you can go to all kinds of crazy. This is not that. It is that. This is the game that I believe this team wanted to make with Dark Souls 1. And with Demon Souls. This is a game where it truly is open world. You have a horse The horse can double jump because he's a ghost horse. You can
Like
go
they didn't have the ability to make this game then.
right.
Gotcha.
Everything is already loaded. There's no like loading times to have to get into somewhere, and it's already loaded. So that in the there are these places you can find on the map that are like telescopes. They give you bird's eye view telescopes is what they're called. And when you click on one, it pulls you up into the sky above that spot, and you can look around the map and you can see enemies moving in those distant areas. At one point, I'm standing at the foot of this huge mountain, and I'm looking the other way, and I turn around and I see the flags waving at like a parapet way up there. And I
Yeah.
know all that stuff is loaded. All that stuff is there,
Yeah.
and I can get there.
Yeah. It's it's not loaded, but man,
Right.
it's not. It's not.
It's rendered already. It just isn't.
Yeah, and it's oh, dude, it's so stinking amazing. I can't remember. We had a discussion. This was a while back. On the new polygon technology,
Yeah.
the new lighting technology,
Yeah.
and one other. And I right now I would need to go back to do my research again to remember the exact names of them.
Right.
But and the ability that call we both of us saw the video.
Yeah. And we're very stunned by it. The Matrix demo is what it was showcased in.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. The Matrix
Mhm.
demo. Thank you. And what they do, and I guess now you're getting to see a touch of that this year on this game. You know,
Yeah.
what it can do.
I adore this game.
I will say there's been a lot of talk on the character creator
Yeah.
on this, and it seems to be pretty robust.
It's pretty good. I don't really, and if you go back and watch my first impressions, anybody here, you'll see I don't really interact with it much, even though it's very robust, because I'm going to put a helmet on that character immediately.
I've heard that statement a lot too. Yep.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's great that it's there for people that aren't going to wear helmets, but I'm immediately putting the coolest looking helmet that I found a helmet. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I found a helmet that gives me more endurance and makes me look like a monster, and I love it. And I will wear that helmet until the end of the game.
Nice.
No, this game, it does have its problems. There's a pretty common bug on PC where it'll stutter for half a second, and it doesn't do it all the time. It'll stutter for half a second and then have greatly accelerated movement speed for a second. And in a game with extremely tight combat, that absolutely has killed me. But it happens so rare, I believe it's probably tied to a memory leak. Because it only happens after I've had it playing for a while.
Oh, is this only on the PC side?
Yeah, I haven't played it on console to know if it's happening there, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it on PC, but haven't heard anybody talk about it on console.
So if you after 3 or 4 hours, maybe if you you're saying if you cut it off, or after a certain span of time, if you cut it off,
yeah, you probably won't run into this.
You may maybe it was that makes sense.
But that's the only performance issue I've run into.
Sounds like it's doing a lot better in New World.
Yeah, it's doing a lot better than Dark Souls 1 did when it first came out on PC too. The other big issue is, and it's not even an issue to me, but it is a thing to be aware of. They reuse some mini bosses. They have since since Demon Souls did it, Dark Souls 1 did it. But for anybody that does care, I've killed one boss like 3 times already in mini bosses. Again, I don't care because there's always something new in the boss fight to mix it up. Either the boss has help or there's a different status effect going on, or but it is there. That is the only real complaint that I could come up with. I haven't touched the main story. I've left that be and just explored and gone to places I should not have gone and fought some of my favorite boss fights in the series. Some of the set pieces in this are some of my favorite set pieces in the series. Again, give me a couple weeks where it's not brand new, and I will talk. I will talk.
Yeah.
I will talk. I will talk.
I'm not lying. Some of the best times I've had in video games is being in places where I'm not supposed to be there yet,
Yep.
and then figuring out a way to get through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It feels very good. This game is great, and you can cheese so much with the horse. I do, but I'm trying not to spoil. But you give me a couple weeks, and I will just talk about cool stuff in this game. Um, there's an entire section where there are these mages that are shooting magic at you, and at the level that I went there, I did not have any answer to that, and so I just rode past them on my horse.
Nice.
Juked and jived, and got away and was able to get further into that area. No, it's so good.
So I this makes me really curious because I can't remember if we've discussed it. I think we've mentioned it on the show, but we've discussed it. I know just you and I talking about map sizes, right?
Yeah,
And obviously you're talking just earlier talking about like your depth of perception
yeah,
on this map.
mm-hmm.
You know what you're seeing in the distance, and it really makes me wonder. Because a game like this hits, and other studios and things have been watching it, and there's been talk, and
Yeah,
they've been waiting for it as well. What titles are coming out that's gonna even challenge this?
right. I agree, and I think every open world game that comes out from now on needs to learn lessons from Elden Ring. When you pick up a material on the ground, because you can pick up stuff in craft, it's an open world game.
Yeah.
You pick it up instantly. There's no animation. You just pick it up. When you summon your horse, it appears underneath you while you're moving. You can summon your horse while running, and you immediately go into a dash. There's no dialogue from your character. There's no moment where your character is just like, "Oh, might need this," or "Yeah, I should pick this up." It's just no. It's I need this. I don't care what my character thinks about it. I know we need it. I'm grabbing it. I don't need to hear Arthur Morgan talk to me again about skinning another rabbit. I just need another thing off the ground here for a second,
Yeah.
No, it's so good. And when we talk about no, yeah, exactly. You just get on the horse. It's so good. When we talk about map size, there is a area in this game because there are like forts and stuff you can go to. That one area alone is as big as Undead Burg in Dark Souls 1, which is one of the biggest zones in Dark Souls 1. This map is huge, but because of how easy it is to traverse, Torrent is so fast. And then you also have all of these teleportation spots around the map that you can teleport to really quickly. You have a hub. I'm not going to say anything more about the hub for spoiler's sake, but you have a hub that you can unlock eventually. I rarely go there because I don't need to.
See, I think this is where I understand. Like I said, I don't watch any videos on it, but the headlines and stuff pop up, and people aren't as sneaky as they think sometimes, and
Right.
sometimes it's buried lead. But that's different conversation. But the obviously the Dark Souls comparisons,
Yeah.
right? They've embraced that.
Yes.
But Breath of the Wild gets brought up a lot
Yes. And it should.
as an inspiration as well, and some of that is the movement, and I think what you were just talking about there kind of explains that.
Also that you can jump. I don't mean like because it's all the Souls games, you hold down the sprint button and then press it again to jump. And you can only do that from sprinting. Not in Elden Ring. In Elden Ring, you just press A to jump. You just jump up. It's so weird to play a Souls game with a jump button, but I cannot go back now. I mean, I will obviously go back. Dark Souls 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. But, I'm going to miss the jump.
Yeah. Well, it's hard
So
for
good.
me if I start a game and I don't have a jump. I have a run, I may have a dodge, but I don't have like a jump. That's usually kind of like, just let me just stand there and jump. I
I agree.
want to do that.
I like being able
trying
to
to
jump in games. Balance.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's probably what. Well, you don't jump in Resident Evil games. You have a prompt
Right.
and you go.
Yeah.
Do that. And I do love Resident Evil games, but that's always like just want to jump.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
agree.
control the jump.
And they didn't just add a jump button, they made it a part of your moveset too. So you have different combos in the air as your character, so you can jump heavy attack to just bam, you know.
That's
And
so
it's
neat.
so
What's funny
good.
is because that was a selling point for one of the old NES Castlevanias.
Right.
You could attack while jumping.
Yeah. Finally there. It only took us
Yeah,
this long.
yeah. Let's come all the way back around.
I also want to say real quick, without spoiling anything, the previous games have had a big issue with there really wasn't any point in doing anything other than like a strength or dex build because if you were a magic build, it was just you can do better magics that do more damage. If you were a faith build, it's like okay, you can throw lightning and do shockwaves. This game has some incredible spells and incantations. They're so cool. It makes me wish that I hadn't rolled knight and had rolled a sorcerer because some of that stuff is super cool. There's a thing I want to say and I can't say, but I can't use
look,
it. But
you got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks.
Yep.
We can put a whole section for this.
Yep.
No, I know you're excited, but I know. I can tell.
Yep. I'll wait though, for spoiler's
Okay.
sake. But that's all the time you get.